All right, welcome to ESCA Legal Lounge. My name's Kimber Marie Faircloth. I am an associate at ESCA, and today we're talking with our CEO, Francesca Witzburg, and our COO, Adam Witzburg. Hi, Adam and Francesca. How are you?
Hello.
Doing good, Kimber Marie.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How have y'all been doing with the holiday break and getting back in the swing of things?
We got over the whole family being sick, kids out of school for 2 weeks, crazy deadlines for litigation, but we survived, and now the kids are back in school and we're ready to hit the ground running.
Feels good to be back to a regular schedule for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So to start, I figured we could do just a little recap of 2024, and maybe y'all could share with us the biggest milestone that ESCA or milestones that ESCA hit in 2024 before we talk about this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had huge growth last year, so I think that was one of the big picture things that we can look back on as a huge success. We grew to about 15 full-time people and really up to 20 at any given time, depending on interns and things like that. So we had substantial growth. It was really a huge year for ESCA, for the brand, and just for building the company and putting that foundation in place that we were wanting to. I think probably one of our proudest accomplishments has been building out the litigation group as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with Adam. The first year was about launching. We didn't know where it was going to go. I started as a solo and it quickly evolved into something bigger. And last year, it was about building out the infrastructure, putting the team in place. We're now officially a full service IP law firm. That also is huge. So, so we could serve our clients across the board, whether it's trademarks, patents, copyrights, global matters, litigation, brand protection enforcement, contracts. I mean, we went from doing trademarks to this entire global brand protection and IP firm in a matter of a year, which has been truly impressive. I can't even really take credit for it. It can be attributed to every single person that we hired had their own vision alongside of the vision of ESCA, building that next gen IP law firm, doing something that's more modern and efficient. And those are words that you don't really hear in the legal industry, but I think every single person who joined our team also had a drive and their own mission to be a part of something bigger that allowed the firm to grow into what it became. It's no way that it was just me or Adam or any one person. It was every single person.
Yeah, I love that. And just from I've only been here a few months, but that's something that stood out to me is just
Really?
how
Feels
yeah,
like
how
an eternity.
how cohesive the team is and just how everyone kind of has their mission, which is really exciting to be a part of that. So yeah, that's amazing. 2024 was a great year. And for 2025, what is in store for ESCA? What do y'all have planned?
I mean, we have a lot planned. I think we're focused. We're going to continue to focus on the growth of the law firm, but for us, growing has always been focused around having a really solid foundation. So we are bringing people in and being very open, and we're listening to them in terms of what the needs are. Since we are a startup, we want to make sure, one of our key things is having the right work-life balance for everybody. So we want to make sure that we have the right pillars in place and the right foundation and really healthy communication with all of our employees and partners to make sure that they're feeling supported as the firm grows. We don't want to grow unsustainably where we have people who are being overworked or feeling like they're reaching burnout. So we're going to continue to grow in an intelligent way and a thoughtful way. We're going to really make a big push this year to expand our outreach and growing the brand of ESCA. So ESCA has grown almost 100% by word of mouth to this point, and just relationships that Francesca and the other attorneys at the firm have cultivated over the years. That's where the bulk of our business has come from. And so we want to focus on, creating a more sustainable brand and advertising around that brand so that we can educate more people on who ESCA is and what it is exactly that we do.
And to be really clear about who we serve and who our people are. I think we work with trademarks, so we also understand the function of them. They are to identify a source. And so with our brand, we want to be as clear as possible who we are, what our values are, what type of clients we want to work for, and just this is not a world where we need hundreds of clients. We are being very intentional with the brands that we serve and who we want to serve. So Adam's totally correct. We're going to continue to build the ESCA brand, but also we have we're going to have our second annual Escapades event that's coming up in April of this year. Save the dates will go out soon, but basically I got so sick and tired of going to all of these really boring legal events. Not all of them are boring. Alt Legal does a great one that's coming up. But a lot of them are just like stuffy and pretentious and boring and with dated topics. So we decided to create our own. We wanted to create our own event and conference that brings together top practitioners, thought leaders, and attendees to learn about brand protection and also in a practical way brainstorm through these ever-evolving issues. It feels like you learn something, you apply it, and then the legal landscape changes, or the counterfeiters have figured out something else, or there's a new social media app that comes up that we have to wrap our heads around and how to enforce. So all of that, we're kind of funneling all of our energy into Escapades. We'll be planning some excellent panels with some top speakers. And my own personal goals for 2025 is to take our team and have each member really step into their own power. Kimber Marie she has done excellent. She's been our associate for a couple months. It feels like years already, but even just today, as you're watching her, she's moderating, and I told her 5 minutes before, okay, you're moderating, Kimber Marie. The training wheels are coming off. She has a great platform. So really continuing to nurture and mentor and guide each one of our team members into taking ownership and leveling up. There's so many really talented people in the legal industry that get stuck in these jobs where they're just becoming either a robot or a paper pusher, or they're stuck under some other smart attorney and they're not able to spread their wings. I am on a personal mission to have every single one of the people at ESCA truly flourish. It sounds great, but it's actually terrifying. Like, I'm literally taking everyone and just like throwing them in the deep end, but I'm doing it with purpose, intention, and out of their best interest. I would never throw them in if I didn't think that they knew how to swim. So a lot of good stuff. I would say it's less Francesca, more ESCA, more client-focused work, and that's what 2025 is really all about from my perspective.
I love that. And that's all super exciting to look forward to 2025 for ESCA. I'd love for y'all to, you mentioned the word intentionality, maybe touch on that a little bit more and how ESCA is different in that it focuses on being intentional with everything that we do. So could you speak more to what that looks like day to day running an intentional law firm for modern brands?
Totally. Thank you, Kimber Marie. I love that word. It is a word that we are not taught at a young age to adopt. From a school age, we are taught to listen, to regurgitate, and to get good grades and execute in accordance with how we're being told. So to this concept of living with intentionality is radical. Really the ability to take ownership of your life and set an intention for it and go after your goals is something that has totally transformed my life. And I know it's transformed yours, Kimber Marie Adams. Pretty much everyone on our team has at some point made the decision to take ownership of their life, even just by joining ESCA and taking a gamble on a startup. So with intentionality, we are committed to building the next generation top tier IP firm. Of course, it's been done before. The people who have come before us were just a couple of young attorneys that started, and over the decades, they have built these amazing companies. So we're committed to building a top tier law firm, integrating technology and being really efficient, because we know in today's world, legal problems are super complex. They seem like they're getting bigger too, in terms of scale and scope with the internet. So it's a volume game, and how we can help brands protect their IP and protect their businesses is by doing performing our legal services in a way that's efficient. And I will continue to use that word efficient because it's, I think, a really important thing that goes against the billable hour. It's contrary to the business model of law firms. So it's also another radical word, but as long as we continue to use technology, service the clients without cutting corners, but really delivering top service while being efficient, that is how we're going to become a top tier firm.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, I just, to add, the way that we design ESCA, we put thought into every aspect of it, and we'll continue to do that. It seems like an overnight success, but it's far from it. There was a ton of intentionality that went into how we set it up, how we grew, and how we'll continue to grow. And it's just something where we're thinking months and years into the future in terms of how we're designing it, so that we're not surprised by any of the different aspects of the growth. And it's enabled us to grow really, really quickly and not feel like things are out of control. So it's just putting a lot of thought and design into the steps that you're taking, and watching it take shape.
Amazing. And another subject you touched on there, both of you, was the growth, the fast growth, but also brand protection, which is something I think it's not talked about enough. Francesca, you and I have kind of chatted about that, how not enough people are talking about brand protection as like a system, and like how IP law firms can help brands with that. So maybe if you were talking to a client right now who doesn't have enough brand protection in place, what would be, I guess, why should they be concerned about brand protection, and why should they work with ESCA?
I think the world has changed. The world that we were in even 10 years ago when I started practicing, it is a totally different world with different rules, and it was a different game. So where maybe mostly the Fortune 500 or big companies would protect their IP and were the ones to get knocked off, we are now in a world where with a click of a button, you could go viral, become a popular overnight sensation, and have your products knocked off in a matter of weeks, if not days, truly. In terms of some websites and some content, it could be minutes that you're getting knocked off. So with that in mind, really thinking about how you can get ahead of this instead of waiting until it becomes a major problem. So the main takeaway is that no brand is safe. It doesn't matter if you're a small business. If you believe in your product or your service, be committed to understanding that if it's popular, and it will be popular if you're committed, that it will get knocked off, and you don't want to wait until that happens. There's significant preventative things that can be done early that will be a fraction of the cost, instead of waiting until you are knocked off in every single country across the globe. At that point, it's not only wildly expensive, but it's the emotional expense of building something or having your picture and your name all over when it's not affiliated with you. It's so violating. I had a client who gave me the analogy that it feels like you're sitting in your living room watching TV with your family, and just someone's coming through the front door and just takes your TV. And you're like, wait, what? Like, I'm enjoying time with my family. We're together, but now someone literally came through my door and it's gone. And what am I going to do about it? So the earlier, the more preventative, the better. And that's what we're committed to doing, is helping clients be protected.
And to add to that, I think one of the things that Francesca and our team does really, really well is when it comes to brand protection, it's a multifaceted approach. There's a multitude of things that you can do if you're not only to proactively protect your brand, but if you're, retroactively going back and trying to play a little bit of catch up in terms of you're already being knocked off. There's multiple things you can do. And what I think ESCA does really well is we don't say, okay, you have to do everything. We can work with, various budgets and various size companies to figure out where your dollars are going to be most effective in terms of the multiple tools that are available to you. So I wouldn't say that, you have to be overwhelmed by the, 5 or 6 different approaches or more that you could take to your brand protection and fighting to protect your name and your rights. But ultimately, you can allocate those dollars to various different areas of the law that will help you most effectively, and you can adjust your legal strategy according to the success you have and where you feel your needs are.
Great, and very, very helpful. And I know there are certainly so many entrepreneurs out there who need to hear this, just because everything is IP these days. And for the last question for both of you today, there's so many changing things happening. I know the TikTok oral arguments are coming up, and then the latest, I guess, social media controversy has been the Birkin versus the Workin.
Yes.
What are maybe some trends or controversies that are kind of going to be playing out this year that both of you are looking at or interested to see how it evolves?
I feel like people are just getting bolder.
Yeah.
Right. So it used to be that you'd knock off a company and you were an infringer, and you would either go back to your country, or if you were a US infringer, you'd pay a certain amount and you wouldn't do that. But now it's like the infringement is a business model. These are businesses. They're sophisticated businessmen and women and operations and organizations around knockoffs and counterfeiting. So for me, what is the evolution of the boldness of these infringers? They hire good lawyers. I've seen some of the top firms representing our the knockoffs that we're going against, because they have money and they figured out, okay, I could file my own copyrights, my own designs, my own patents. So it's fascinating, and something to continue to watch, is this like boldness for the infringers.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, it's just the speed at which all of this takes place, and also the fact that it's now affecting companies of all varying sizes. I feel like a lot of the problems that firms like ESCA used to assist with were for larger companies, and now the smaller company that can start on Amazon or one of the e-commerce platforms all of a sudden has an infringement problem that could rival that of a multi-million-dollar enterprise. And so those strategies that the Fortune 500 companies are applying to their counterfeiting problems, we're taking those same strategies and we've made it so we can arm small businesses with those same tools. And I think that you're going to see that become more and more common as small businesses enter the e-commerce marketplace and become, as they say, overnight successes. They're going to need more and more of the tools that we offer and that we educate people on. So I think 2025 and moving forward, we're just going to see a ton of growth in terms of those practices.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Yes.
So those were all the questions I had. All good. Those were the questions I had for both of you today. Thank you for your time. To those watching, please tune in with us on our next Legal Lounge. We'll be posting about that shortly. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Kimberly.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.